Hello everybody, and welcome back to the F124 Ferrari Driver Career Mode. We are back this weekend for round 24 of 24, the final race of the season in Abu Dhabi, the Yas Marina circuit for the championship decider between myself and Max Verstappen, with the Constructors' Championship already secured. We won't have much to lose in that aspect, and hopefully we could use our teammate Charles Leclerc to help us win out against Max Verstappen. Now, going into this, I have to say I am pretty nervous because this isn't my strongest track. I did top practice 1, but only by less than a tenth. So, yeah, going into this, I don't see myself getting pole position, which is why I really wanted to leave Qatar with a bigger lead over Max than being equal on the points, because I don't have confidence around this circuit that I will be as fast as other tracks. So yeah, nothing else left to do but start the final qualifying session of the year.
Come along everybody, it's the fastest day of the week, qualifying Saturday, and we're here in Abu Dhabi.
Well, now as we start our first lap of qualifying here at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, I knocked the ball out there, you can see already. Also a fantastic start for qualifying. And now we're going to head down into the infamous Turn 5, where Max Verstappen took the 2021 championship from Lewis Hamilton. And you can say what you want about that race and that season as a whole and how it was handled, but you can't lie that it was an entertaining season. And now we're going to head out of the chicane onto this second straight here, DRS wide open, getting up to excess of 200 miles an hour. The speed trap was not very encouraging in practice. Seems we were a bit slower on the straights than some other teams. Now we're going to head through this twisty technical sector 3, flat out through the penultimate corner. And now we'll round the final corner and take it flat up to the line, and that will be P2, 2/10 behind Oscar Piastri. Well, here at the end of Q1, Oscar Piastri tops the timing sheets, 67 milliseconds separating him and our teammate Charles Leclerc. Then comes Sergio Perez, Fernando Alonso, and then myself in 5th. Max Verstappen is about a little under a tenth off of my time. So out in Q1, we have Zhou Guanyu, Lance Stroll, Yuki Tsunoda, Nico Hulkenberg, and Logan Sargent. Well, now as we round the final few corners for our first lap of Q2, we're going to head up towards the line, and it will be P3 for us, behind Alonso and Verstappen. Well, here at the end of Q2, Max Verstappen, our championship rival, is going to be P1 from Fernando Alonso by less than half a tenth of a second. So obviously a very tight field here. We're down in 6th place, but also that was not the best of laps. I can definitely do better. And also I accidentally lifted off of the throttle before we went across the line, so that would have cost me like a tenth or two. But let's just have a look here. We can see out in Q1 is Daniel Ricciardo, Alex Albon, Kevin Magnussen, Esteban Ocon, and Valtteri Bottas will line up 15th on the grid. Let's progress on into Q3. Well, it really is truly anyone's guess as to who will be on pole position for this Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. First time that the Formula 1 title has gone down to the final race since 2021, and before that would be 2016, I believe. And now as we head down into turn 5, can we set a competitive lap time relative to the Red Bull? And as we head through the final few corners, our teammate Charles Leclerc is all over the back of us as well as he sets his lap, as now we're going to head out of the final corner up to the line, and it is going to, I didn't expect it to be a good lap that was very bad on my part. And it looks like we are last of the runners in Q3 for our first run. Well, now as we prepare to start our final run of qualifying, I don't know what this Red Bull car is doing, but now we're going to start our lap, and if we want any shot of getting pole position, we need to have about 1.3 seconds of improvement, maybe a little less than that. Let's see if we can manage it. Well, now as we head out of the final corner, we get a big old slide there. And that will lose us a few tenths, excuse me once again. And looks like we're going to be way down in 8th place for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Well, this is the worst possible scenario that could have come of Q3. Max Verstappen on pole position by 2 tenths from Lando Norris, and we're all the way down in 8th place. So starting on the 4th row will not be a good thing for tomorrow's Grand Prix. However, I have faith that our race pace will be quicker and we can make our way through the field. We've seen it in past races. It's time for the title decider for this Formula 1 2024 season. Let's do this.
It's the final chapter of the season then here at the spectacular Yas Marina circuit. It's a race where the pole sitter failed to finish in 3 of the first 4 events. A front row start here is by no means a guarantee of victory. So we go into battle once more then as we get underway at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. The Yas Marina circuit is made up of 3.28 miles of track, featuring 16 corners with 2 very long straights. DRS zones going into the heavy braking zones of both turn 5 and turn 7 offer plenty of potential for overtaking. The circuit comes with its fair share of tricky corners, which will certainly test a driver's braking management. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Sergio Perez will lead us away from pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Mr. Monaco, Gasly, Fernando Alonso, Oscar Piastri, Albon, Ocon, Bottas, Joe, Norris, Ricciardo, Stroll, Sargent, Tsunoda, Leclerc, Russell, Magnussen, and Nico Hülkenberg rounds off the grid. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. And alongside me here today in the commentary box, Anthony Davidson. I don't know about you, Ant, but it seems like only a couple of weeks ago we were talking ahead of the first race. Here we are ahead of the last race. This year has just flown by.
Yeah, a lot of races to cover these days in Formula 1, Crofty, as you well know, doing them all yourself. But it's the same for the drivers. It comes at you thick and fast, and you've got to pace yourself as well to get to this point in the season. If it has gone your way, it's a great time to just enjoy it. There's nothing that can change in the championship pecking order, of course. If you've won the championship already, go out and enjoy this race and send yourself off through the winter break. If it's been a bit of a year to forget, you can try and take a bit of solace in this Grand Prix, end on a high, and carry that energy into next season.
Well, here we go. We are now on the grid. ready for the start of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And now, we're going to go for a one-stop strategy. Sorry, just trying to relax myself there. And also, talking point, Max Verstappen taking a 3-place grid penalty for reasons unknown. I would assume it is some sort of sporting code or etiquette or something like that, because 3-place wouldn't come from an engine component change. A 3-place would come from illegal blocking or a collision in practice or qualifying. So, actually now, so many people have taken grid penalties that we'll be starting from 8th up to 4th now, just behind our championship rival. So this puts us in a much better position. We got extremely lucky. Let's jump into this Grand Prix. Do everything we can to win the title.
So here we go then with the formation lap right here in Abu Dhabi. Around 50,000 spectators are all in the stands today, all hoping to see some fantastic racing.
Well, Perez leads the field away from Lewis Hamilton in second, and then myself and Verstappen both lining up on the second row of the grid.
We're almost ready to start the race as the cars take their positions on the grid, with the drivers and teams making their final preparations.
And I did forget to mention, you can see the special black helmet that I have on with the red stripes for this championship decider as the sun sets on this magnificent Abu Dhabi circuit. It's going to be an all-out fight. Whoop, didn't mean to do that. As now, here we go. As on the back row, the 2 Haas cars line up in their grid slots, and the green flag is going to wave now, as we have for the final time this season 3, 4, 5 red lights for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go. We don't get as good of a start as Max Verstappen does. Now we already have Pierre Gasly coming up the outside of us. We're going to hold the inside line, as now Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton takes the lead of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Max Verstappen holds position. Perez now in second place. He'll be wanting to retake that, and the problem today with Leclerc being so low down with that grid penalty is that there's 2 Red Bulls versus 1 Ferrari, and we've seen Perez help Verstappen in a title fight here around this track before against Lewis Hamilton, and there's no reason that I could think of why he wouldn't do it again, as we all now file into this first chicane of 6 and 7. And now we need to optimize our exit speed more than entry speed. And remember, DRS will be enabled on the second lap of this Grand Prix. As we go a little bit wide onto the curbs there, Max Verstappen, you can see harvesting some battery. It's the concertina effect.
Depleting, reducing our overall capacity. The more charge you hold, the faster that capacity will drop.
And also, the internal combustion engine has wear on it, as Mark said at the start of the race. So our straight line power will be down. Hopefully we can make it up in whatever battery power we have. And now Lewis Hamilton does still lead this Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, and Verstappen is closer to Perez.
DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
Then Perez is to Verstappen, and I would imagine in real life Red Bull would swap the 2 and have Checo defend against myself. And now you can see Lewis Hamilton defending the inside line. Sergio Perez goes to the outside, and that would give him the inside for the second part of the chicane. Can we optimize our exit speed?
Look out for a bit of understeer when trailing the car ahead. They're going to be giving off dirty air, which is going to affect our tyres, so try to get past.
Shut up, Mark.
Got that confirmed.
As now you can see we're going to go 3 wide down here at the end of the second straight. Checo retakes the lead of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton still in second. We get forced off the circuit by Max Verstappen. We're going to go side by side now into the turn. Can we take the position from our championship rival? We set a purple middle sector, so clearly we've got some pace in hand. But no, Max just holds on to the final podium position for now. This is getting serious. Well, here we go again, and I imagine there's going to be a lot of position swapping between the top 4 drivers here, as now we've already used way too much battery, so I'm going to flip this into recharge mode, as now it looks like Lewis is going to have a move on Checo as we almost go into the back of the Flying Dutchman there. And now can Lewis have a look into the reprofiled long left-hander of turn 7? As now, it seems our straight line speed, I did mention that it was slower in the speed traps during practice, which is why I should have really lowered the rear wing more. But that does give us a lot more stability and downforce through this 3rd sector, which is why you can just see, even without the concertina effect, it still is a thing and is there, that downforce through that 3rd sector. We're much faster, however, you can't. It's much more prevalent with that concertina effect. You can see as we set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. So dropping back a little bit clearly showed what we can do in clean air, and Lando Norris now snatches that fastest lap. Now heading down into turn 5, are we going to be close enough to have a look on Max Verstappen, as he sent it on Lewis Hamilton about this far back in 2021, but I'm not here to take that risk. We do have an entire race ahead of us, as now you can just see the difference in straight line speed, as Pierre Gasly is managing to hold on to 5th place, so good job from the Frenchman. And now heading into the chicane, once again we almost go into the back of Max Verstappen. However, now we do have the inside line. Can we hold it? Yes, we do pass Max Verstappen, but he's still got a wheel in there, and he's going to get DR. Oh, actually, no, he's not going to get DRS. Well, he is. Sorry, from Lewis Hamilton ahead, but we'll have it from Verstappen as well. And now Pierre Gasly is going to try to go up the inside, but there's nothing in it for him. He knows his race isn't with us today, and he'll be focusing more on the cars behind. Now I'm going to switch my car into harvest mode. Apologies for my bad commentating. I'm just trying to focus and not make any mistakes here at this high stakes Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Well, the Red Bull, the upgrades that they brought in Las Vegas really seem to affect their straight line speed. As now here goes Lewis Hamilton on Sergio Perez. Is he going to make the move for the lead of this Grand Prix? As no, unfortunately, he will not be able to, but actually he's going to go side by side now with Sergio Perez, and now looks like Max Verstappen trying to have a look on the inside there, but nothing in it for the Flying Dutchman on this occasion, and Lewis Hamilton just has to tuck back in behind Checo this time around, but he will be harvesting up some battery to challenge the straight line dominance of the Red Bulls now down into turn 6 and 7. However, all this dirty air is really just killing my tires at this stage of the race, and we need to start clearing these cars ahead now. As now I am gonna go flat out, but nope, can't do that with the battery on, or else I will lose all the rear end stability that I have, and I was planning to go for a move down into turn 5, but now that is no more. As now, is there a lockup? Yeah, lockup there from Lewis Hamilton, so that will compromise his exit now. Will Max Verstappen be closest to have a look on the 7-time world champion? It looks like he's gaining and gaining and gaining and gaining and tucking into a slipstream, and now he's going to go around the outside down in this chicane. Now they're going 3 wide into the chicane nearly, as Checo defending there from Lewis Hamilton, as now we drop back and get a phenomenal exit there.
Really good. You hit that target nicely. There's a long way to go in this race, so let's keep it clean.
Phenomenal exit out of the chicane, as now here goes Sergio Perez around the outside of Lewis Hamilton to retake the lead of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, but Hamilton says no thank you and is going to hold this out all the way down this part. Now Max Verstappen down in 3rd, we pass him, and now Max Verstappen go back up the inside. Phenomenal racing here between myself, the Red Bulls, and Lewis Hamilton. Lewis and Checo still side by side, and now can we have a through goes Hamilton moment, as now we're gonna, we hit the wall. Oh no, we hit Lewis Hamilton and go into the 7-time world champion, as there was quite a bit of contact there, as we just nudged the wall on the inside. No damage though. We'll have a look at what the stewards think about that, but we're up into 2nd place behind Sergio Perez, who will not have DRS down into the turn 6-7 chicane. So right now we need to focus on recharging our battery and getting back into clean air, I just want to have a look here to see if we do have any front wing damage, and no, we do not. So we got off lucky there. That was phenomenal racing until I tried to snooker up I tried to take it flat out, and they had to lift because they were going side by side. Because normally that corner is flat out, but they lifted and I wasn't expecting it. So Hamilton and Verstappen now fighting away behind us through the chicane. And it looks like Verstappen has got the better of Lewis this time around, and we're going to have DRS to keep us in the striking distance of Sergio Perez. And now Verstappen looks like he's just inching ahead of Lewis Hamilton. And now here we go on Sergio Perez. We're gaining with some battery deployment, gaining, and we're going to send one up the inside down into turn 5 on the Red Bull driver, and now we will have DRS. So luckily, that fighting with Lewis Hamilton has now dropped Max all the way out of DRS range of us. However, I think he might have just gotten it on his teammate there as I sent that lunge. And now Pierre Gasly going for a move on Lewis Hamilton. So clearly Hamilton is now out of contention for this win, as they are already out of DRS range of Max Verstappen. And now Sergio Perez is going to have DRS on ourselves, but he's not going to be close enough to do anything, as now Lewis is going to lose a position to Oscar Piastri as well. They're going side by side. I think Piastri's just inching ahead, so Lewis gone from fighting for the win to down to 6th place in the space of a lap. Heading down into turn 5, I think Checo's more focused on defending from his teammate behind for some reason. I know I said earlier in real life they would have Checo let Max by. However, now I think Perez is out of our DRS range. I'm not sure if he did get the rear wing open. Yes, I think he did. But Max will also be wanting to have a look on the Mexican driver. So as we head down into the chicane, what can Max do? As now Piastri passing Pierre Gasly, can Oscar put himself in the mix here in that lightning quick McLaren? In terms of development, we are the 3rd fastest car on the grid right now. McLaren in 2nd, and Red Bull, ever since Vegas, has been the 1st fastest car. We were actually only the overall quickest car in Austria, and we were quickest in Singapore as well, and we were quickest in Austin. But other than that, our car has not been, well, Mexico too, I guess. But yeah, other than that, our car has not been the overall quickest. It's either been the Red Bull or the McLaren. And Bahrain, I guess, now that I mentioned it. So clearly, development has been different throughout a lot of the season. As now here goes Sergio Perez. He's not going to have a look on us down into turn 5. However, he is much, much closer after that big wobble I had out of the turn 2 and 3 section. And now we're going to deploy all the battery we have. However, Checo is going to have that rear wing open and get the extra straight line speed. And now will Max Verstappen be close enough to have a look at us? No, he will not. However, can we snooker up the inside into the second part of the chicane? You can just turn in on me if you want, Sergio. As now he's going to get DRS. And now Max will have it as well. So now we're just swapping positions left, right, and center. And now we're going to have the outside line, which is usually where you can get on the throttle sooner with the more grip. And now we take the lead back of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. So, as I was saying, development throughout the season has been swapping between Red Bull and Ferrari and even McLaren on a few occasions. And now, as we head down into turn 1 for the 11th time of 29 in this Grand Prix, the sun is starting to set as I'm trying to break the DRS zone. Every time I hit that curb there, I just get a big old wobble. I did it in my final Q3 lap as well, which is what I bottled that with. And now Checo will be far closer to us, as will Max Verstappen. And Max Verstappen there taking second place off of his teammate Sergio Perez, and now he's going to have a run out of the chicane on us for sure. He'll be deploying battery, and he'll be having his rear wing wide open. Is now which way is he going to go? He's going to go to the inside line. Can Max Verstappen hold it against us? I don't think he's going to have enough downforce to be able to get past on this particular occasion, as now the tires are about finished. Did Max just send it up the inside on us? We saw him do that with that Hamilton battle earlier, just a few laps ago, which just blows my mind how Lewis went from leading this Grand Prix down to 6th in the space of literally less than a lap. And then we get a lot of understeer. And team want us in a lap's time. So next lap we will be into the pit lane, and I imagine so will Max Verstappen. As now he is going to be extremely close to us heading down into turn 5. I'm sure he has great memories of this corner where he took the 21 championship, as I mentioned earlier, from Lewis Hamilton. And now we're going to deploy all the battery we've got left in the pack. And now he is going to be gaining and gaining and gaining and gaining and going to the inside, the left hand. Usually the worst spot for overtaking, because I will just have the inside now for the next turn. And we were slightly behind him at the DRS line, which is going to give us that rear wing straight line improvement. And now here goes Sergio Perez. We're going to go 3 wide down now into turn 8, that is. And now we're still going side by side. And now Max Verstappen does inch ahead of us, and Checo isn't going to get past us. However, that was a great battle we had there. And Max Verstappen now retaking the lead of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. He gets a little bit of a wobble there. And now we're going to head around the penultimate corner and into the final corner, down into 3rd gear. Get on the power nice and early over the curbs. And now we're going to send it up the inside on Max Verstappen into turn 1, but he's just far enough ahead to slam the door on us there. And now you can just see the difference of speed between myself and Max through this section of corners. You can just see how much more straight line speed he's got by that little bit, but a little bit goes a long way in Formula 1.
Okay, mate. Right, we've got a full battery, which means we can use more of it to gain performance. Let's go.
Well, now, excuse me, Max is going to hold the inside line, but we're going to go to the outside line, which will give us the inside for turn 6, that is, or 7. Not really good with corner names, as I've mentioned in the past, corner numbers. And now, can we get past Verstappen? No, we cannot. But Sergio Perez certainly is going to try to send one up the inside of us. What kind of exit can we get now? Can we get up to the back of Max Verstappen? He's going to give us the inside. He's going to give us the space. And now we're going to head down into the inside, heading into Sector 3. And now I would like to be ahead going into the pit lane. And yes, we will be ahead going into the pit lane. Excuse me once again. So basically, what I need now is for Ferrari to not fail us and not let us down as we get slowed down into the pit lane. And now we need a good, nice, clean, and tidy stop from the crew, please. And yes, we do get a nice stop. And Max Verstappen doesn't get a good stop. I'm not sure what's going on with that. Well, let's have a look here at Max Verstappen's pit stop. He's going to pull into the Red Bull box. Red Bull crew usually renowned for their fast stops, and he doesn't get a good one at all. And then he's held for the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton coming into the pit lane. So yeah, that's Max Verstappen losing quite a bit of time. So now, as we head out of the pit lane, we have ahead of us, we're currently 11th place, and we are 3.3 seconds ahead of Verstappen. As you can hear the floor scraping against the ground. And now 5 seconds up the road are the medium runners who haven't made their stops yet. And now these tires should not wear as quick, as I've already got them up to temperature. This Ferrari car really is good at heating up its tires, not so good at preserving them though. I feel like that's more down to the driver. Because now I'm just trying to refine where the grip is. And I imagine at the end of this lap, we will retake the lead officially, as everybody else will come into the pit lane. Norris currently holds the fastest lap, so I'm wondering if we should just go for that now, as Charles, quite a far way behind us, comes into the pit lane. And now this will be us retaking the lead of the Grand Prix. Sergio Perez comes out of the pit lane now. And yes, we have now quite a lead as we go pretty wide there. Apologies for that, but now we are quite a far ways ahead. You can see as Perez is coming out directly behind Max Verstappen, and he will have DRS, as will Oscar Piastri, and certainly them fighting will allow Pierre Gasly to make that deficit less than a second. Currently is about 1.1, so you can just see behind him he's got the McLaren of Lando Norris. And so with them battling, this should be just a breeze to the end, but I don't want to say anything until we've crossed the line at the end of lap 29. I know fuel is high right now, but what I'm going to do is, while these tires are fresh, I'm going to save up some battery and go for the fastest lap. I know it's not really necessary, however, it would be a nice thing to have if we do end up winning this championship, and it would be a nice way to kind of sign off the season. And also, you know, prove that if we do have the pace, and that this Ferrari car is not just a fluke.
Okay, unlucky, mate. That wasn't quite what we needed, but let's not worry about it. Get your head down and chin up. There's a long way to go.
As now Max Verstappen sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. So 2.1 seconds behind us now. And Perez will be fighting away with him, as I said. And we need to start pulling away, which is the reason why I want the fastest lap. So now I'm going to put the car into harvest mode into the corners, even though we already are almost fully charged. And then we will see what kind of lap time we can do. Well, now this has been a decent lap. I did go a little bit wide in one spot, but let's see what kind of time we do. As yes, it is the fastest lap with a 1:25.7. And we gained about 5/10 on Verstappen there. And he's about 5/10 from his teammate Sergio Perez. And 3/10 behind is Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris past Pierre Gasly. So now Red Bull is stuck with this McLaren battle. And now they are really compromised when it comes to catching me. Well, the team wants us to set a lap time minimum 1:28.8, as Max Verstappen is starting to pick up the pace here. And as he picks up the pace, Sergio Perez is in that DRS range, as is Oscar Piastri still. So as Max picks up the pace, so will the drivers behind.
Okay, information on Verstappen. They've got some kind of mechanical problem. Great stuff, mate. You hit the target well there. Nice one. There's a long way to go in this race, though, so keep your head down.
Ooh, okay. Some kind of mechanical problem for Max Verstappen, championship rival. So I kind of want to know what's going on now with Verstappen. Will we see his pace drop off, or is it something like a DRS failure or something like that? Can't tell me specifically. It sounds like as now Perez is going to go side by side with him down into the chicane, and by the time they get to the braking zone, he actually is ahead of Max Verstappen. Now, what kind of mechanical issue has he got? Has Red Bull Powertrains failed the young Dutchman here in Abu Dhabi? He was touted to win his 4th title here today, and looked like he could challenge once again, as he was gaining, but now this mechanical issue, he's dropping back behind Perez. He's lost like 5/10 this lap to him. But he still seems to be holding on. However, Oscar Piastri is right up his gearbox. So, what kind of issues has Max Verstappen got? I have a feeling he'll be passed down the back straight by Oscar Piastri. Well, Piastri and Verstappen are now scrapping away, and it looks like Piastri has just cleared Max as he's dropped down now 3 seconds behind me, and Lando Norris is now cut up to that whole gaggle of cars. Max Verstappen, something clearly wrong with that Red Bull. And now Lando Norris has passed Max Verstappen as well. The Dutchman's down in 5th position. And now Max Verstappen has fallen out of DRS range at the top 4 to Lando Norris and his McLaren. So now Piastri and Perez fighting away. All we have to do is keep it on the road here. I don't think he has the pace to catch us like Max did. But I want to know what's wrong with Verstappen's car. I think he might just be stuck in a lower engine mode. He's really losing more time on the straights and through the corners. So now heading out of turn 5, Max Verstappen is actually under pressure from Pierre Gasly. And I think he has cleared Verstappen, his old teammate. Remember in 2019, he was Max Verstappen's teammate at Red Bull for half a season, and now he has left the Red Bull program completely in 2023, and doing good in his second season for Alpine. Scored quite a lot of points this season, actually. So now that means
charge is high. Let's use that overtake button a bit more.
Mark telling us there to pick up the pace with the battery, but yeah, as I was saying, Verstappen down to 6th. Well, here we go now as we begin the final lap of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, lap 29.
Okay, this is your final lap of the race.
As now we head down into turn 1. So many infamous moments have happened on this track. Michael Schumacher having that contact that almost took his head off, quite frankly, in the 2010 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, as well as Sebastian Vettel winning his first Drivers' Championship, despite not leading the championship the whole season, and Fernando Alonso being stuck behind Vitaly Petrov and losing the title with Ferrari. And then we have 2014, where a double points race was introduced to make it more thrilling, and Lewis Hamilton took his second world title and first for Mercedes up against Nico Rosberg. And then 2016, Nico Rosberg managed the race brilliantly to come home to finish second behind Lewis Hamilton to win his one and only driver's title. And now as we round up through to start the third sector of the lap, the last time an American driver won the championship, you will have to go back to 1978 for Mario Andretti, and 1961 for Phil Hill with Ferrari. And now, for the first time since 2007, we are going to round the final corner. And now we are going to take the checkered flag and win the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. We win the 2024 season championship. Get in there!
Oh, you are my hero! You're my hero! You've done it! All of that work has come down to this, and you are the world champion. Great stuff!
Well, there we go. For the first time since 2007,
So
as I
the
said.
celebrations begin, and well earned they are indeed. It might have looked simple at times, but as any racing driver will tell you, competing at this level at the very top is anything but simple. There's no catching them now then. We have a new World Drivers' Champion.
Ferrari
Done
back
it
on
as well. What a phenomenal end to a terrific Formula One season.
And that's 2 wins in a row now. It's the start of potentially something special, but they can't get ahead of themselves just yet. It's a long way to go.
Well, actually, there's not a long way to go. It's the end of the season, Anthony. But, yeah, you can see just how happy the team are about this win.
Here come our winners now. A thrilling race and a tremendous effort by Ferrari. Their history is well known, so it's no surprise to fans the world over to see them come out on top once again.
Well, Oscar Piastri came home second with Sergio Perez in third. Verstappen finished either 5th or 6th. I wasn't really looking. And now we pump the trophy in the air. As now the champagne is going to spray. We deserve this. We have been brilliant all season long. And now, here where it mattered the most in Abu Dhabi, we win and we take the championship for Ferrari for the first time since 2007.
So let's celebrate the end of the season, but I know a lot of you will be very sad out there thinking, what are you going to do without Formula One? Don't worry, folks. It'll be back before you know it. We'll see you next year.
Well, there we go. We win the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix by 2.198 seconds from Oscar Piastri, Sergio Perez in third, Lando Norris, and Max Verstappen there dropped back almost 10 seconds from us. He looked like he could challenge us at the end until he had that engine problem. Then comes Pierre Gasly, Lewis Hamilton, who is fighting for the win, dropped back 20 seconds from ourselves. Then comes Fernando Alonso, 2 seconds, or 2/10, I should say, behind his old rival and teammate. Then comes our teammate Charles Leclerc, up from 17th, so good recovery from him, as well from George Russell from 18th to score the final points-paying position. Esteban Ocon, Lance Stroll, Alex Albon, Yuki Tsunoda, Daniel Ricciardo, Valtteri Bottas, Zhou Guanyu, and Logan Sargent round off the top 18 with the 2 Haas cars finishing 19th and 20th. But yeah, we have won the Formula One World Championship for the first time since 2007. Ferrari take the drivers' and constructors' title. I know technically McLaren won in 2007, but remember, they were disqualified. But now we'll have a look at the standings there. Look at that. 405 points to Max's 389. In terms of the constructors' standings, we top the standings from Red Bull, then McLaren, Mercedes, and Aston Martin, Alpine ahead of Visa Cash App RB. Kick Sauber in 8th, Williams in 9th, and Haas in 10th with 9 points. So this is the end of the 2024 season, and as Crofty said, it is certainly going to be very sad to see Formula One go, but don't worry. And also, like he said, we'll be back before you know it. This is a crucial win for us, and we'll come back even stronger next season, I'm sure. Keep an eye out. I'll see you guys then in Bahrain for preseason testing for 2025. Goodbye.